Hi, everyone. Happy January. Does everybody have their Christmas decorations down now
Uh-huh. Yeah.
for 2026? We're going to start the year out, and I don't know what the rest of you been doing, but we've been, it's kind of a creative time of the year, and hopefully everybody's, doing something fun and creative to add to their thing. Today I wanted to talk about I'm still on a kick. And I sent this to you. I'm still on a kick about how, tarot has come into vogue and again I'm sure over 400 years this has happened more than once or twice or three times. But it's just that this time around, we didn't have TikTok and Instagram and instant everything and AI and we have all these really young readers addressing oh, I lost my husband of 30 years, will I ever find love again? And they're reading on this. These are girls that probably have never had a breakup with a boyfriend before. And so if they do know, are they, if they don't know, are they grabbing it off of AI, or which is I so frown upon. I love AI. It's wonderful for certain things, but it's not divination when you get the definitions off of AI. It's just not. And
Yeah.
I just worry about I
Amber.
just I just worry about the current popularity of it bastardizing the entire industry. And I'm kind of curious about what you guys think about that. And then I also want to talk about, and Dee, I told you that you're the resident witch here, and I wanted to talk to you about all the witches down here are doing tarot. And so to me, tarot is like mystic arts. And to me, it's different than the magic that they generally do. But down here, they do both. And so I'm trying to figure out where is the differentiation between witches and tarot readers. I mean, witch reading and the rest of us doing it. I'm curious about that. But before we start with those, Amanda has some news, and I wanted to let her do it at the top in case people check in and then leave before didn't want to wait till the end in case we lost, people watching the video. But it's so exciting because, and we don't have Rebecca here yet. She's delayed. She'll have to watch the replay. But she is just starting out on learning Lenormand. And you have a class that you've been working on that's out now, and you're getting ready to start it here in just a few days. And I wanted you to
Yeah.
talk about that and why you decided to do that or put that class together, and how easy was it? Was it easy to put together? How did that go for you? And tell us how people can sign up if they're interested.
Well, it's online by Zoom, Lenormand Foundations, and I teach tarot, and some people I read tarot and Lenormand in my readings together, um, usually, and people are very interested in the Lenormand. So I decided to make a class for Lenormand as well, and it's three it's 6 hours altogether, but it's 3 2-hour sessions on Saturdays. It starts this Saturday. um let's see. uh yeah, just we learn all the cards, and then I will teach because Lenormand's always read in pairs. It's a little different. I personally think it's harder than tarot, because there's so many combinations, um, of meanings. But I mean, that's pretty much it. It's If anybody's interested, um, uh, I'm teaching 2 card spreads, 3 card spreads, um, subject modifier is how it's done. You'll learn the adverb meaning, the adjective meaning, the noun meaning, the verb meaning, um, of all the cards, all 36 cards. Yeah, and I can put my link in the chat if anybody's interested. But
Do,
I really,
and then I'm going to snag it and put it on in the description of this video when it goes up on YouTube.
okay. Um,
And last month, Sherry, who's I don't see her here yet either. Sherry asked if she could put our podcast up on her website. She's in Hawaii. And I said, sure, why not? So I sent it to her. So she might be, if she puts it up, then it would get to those people, that side of the world too. So that would
and
work.
this is just my personal opinion, but I feel like the Lenormand is easier to read for yourself because with the tarot, this is just me. The ego gets in the way, and it's kind of it's easier to read for other people. But I personally use Lenormand for myself for readings for myself, just because it's so. This is what this means. There's not a lot of intuitive um, interpretation, so I just want to throw that out there too.
There, D and I got D likes to also read with multiple modalities. You'll throw in oracles, or you'll throw in, I don't know if you throw in Lenormand, but you do all kinds of, you like to mix and match as well. The only thing I mix is tarot and crystal reading, divination. That's the only thing that I mix at this point. But right now I'm in the process of, I'm creating a course that I'm kind of rebranding or changing this from more of a coaching, more of a, party trick tarot type thing to which I just feel like I've gone as far as I can with, just short tarot readings, and I've been wanting, for a year, I've been really, really invested in the, the holistic side and how tarot and chakras can be blended. And I'm so excited about it that I finally said, I just have to, I have to bring to the masses what I've been doing and studying for the last, doing for the last year. So I'm working on something like that. But, D and I don't know how long ago it was, 3 years ago, maybe, we took a World Divination Association class on crime, on Lenormand for crime. And it was right about the same time that the girl from Florida and the boyfriend in the van, and he killed her out at Yellowstone.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
remember, there was a manhunt going on for him and her, and then afterward for him, and he ended up killing himself in the Everglades or something, took his own life. But during that, and then also during the University of Idaho murders, the four students. And it's like, I don't know why. It's like, why didn't we get off our butts and pull our cards? But those are perfect circumstances for doing a grand tableau, whole crime, a crime scene investigation with Lenormand. And I've always wanted to do something, but it's got to be something where you don't have all the answers yet, but you can follow along. So something, the next piece of news that comes out that they find, and then you can update and look at what your spread was and then pull a new one and say, hey, we were thinking, it's like she was the woman, right? And we were thinking, where is the woman? Is the woman close to the man or far from the man? Because near and far is kind of easy to, concept to accept. But, the mountains, right? So if the woman was near the mountains, right? So if that would have been something interesting. So anyway, I'm just thinking that I love Lenormand, and I just don't spend enough time with it. Even though it's in the name of my business, I just don't spend enough time like I should, just because there's so many other things. But I love those cards. And but I agree with you. There are so many combinations, and they say, oh, it's really easy because all you have to do is, it's a pictograph, put your words. You don't have to go off into all kinds of different directions and everything like you do with tarot, or you're not free to do that. But in all actuality, you really there really are a lot of different avenues. It's context. As long as there's so many different kinds of context, even with like tarot, there are a lot of different directions to take it. So I agree with you. It's not the easiest thing, but their cards are so pretty. I try to explain to people, the difference is when you have when you're looking at the garden, right? You're not looking at the trees or the leaves on the trees or the color of the trunk or birds flying in the air. You're not looking at that. You're just, the garden is about, that's going to be about being in public, right? It's like being out, being in public. And it's not about diving into all the symbology on the cards, which almost you think would make it easier to learn than tarot.
Yeah, that's why I'm in my tarot classes, I make them get a specific deck. It's the Rider Waite deck, but it has to be that one. But Lenormand, you can use any Lenormand deck. It's how I'm doing it because it doesn't really matter. It's the symbol. It's not that the imagery doesn't matter, that kind of thing. Just
Well,
because of the difference. Yeah.
so you are all right. So you're doing this based off of, okay, it's Amanda Halderman. So it's www for people that are going to listen later. It's www.amanda and then and Halderman, one word, HALDERMAN at, or I'm sorry, .com, amandahalderman.com. And then if you go to services, you'll find it, right? You'll run into
It's
it.
actually under classes. I've got a classes.
Okay, under classes.
Mm-hmm.
So, and then I'll still put this link in the bottom.
Thank you. I
Yeah,
appreciate it.
that'd be great. Looking forward to it.
Yeah.
I'm really looking forward to also working with people, working with some of you on my new project, and I have Rebecca's been proofing some of my stuff and throwing questions at me, so it'll be a fun process. Okay, so let's get back to, are we oversaturated? And how does everybody feel about that? About this, hey, I think I'll jump on and become a tarot reader in a week. I mean, I've seen people on TikTok literally read out of a little white book. I've seen people at shows do that. I just about passed out. It's like, I feel like if you're going to be in public, you need to, I mean, there's nothing wrong with starting out and being new. We have to start somewhere, but I just don't think people should try to start by being professional when they're not ready. So anybody got anything on that, or is that a boring topic?
No, I actually think it's interesting. Really, what I think about it, I don't think about it a lot, to be honest with you, because we're not going to be able, there's nothing we can do to stop that. I think we have to focus on who we are. This is how I handle it. I just focus on what I do. I focus on how I do it. I focus on my strengths. I focus on every day there's an opportunity to learn something new. And I've been doing this for more than 20 years and I'm still learning. My focus is not on the TikTokers, the 20-year-olds. What it is on though, like I said, is my own personal growth because the more in tune I become, the more I grow, the better reader I become. And I too have added different divinations to my tarot. I like to kind of stack. So I use tarot, I use oracle, I divinate with dried flowers. And now I'm starting to use charms as well. And it just adds a layer. And I kind of like to layer mine. So I'm focused on that. One thing I will share though, besides me being focused on my own growth, my daughter, I have a 43, she'll be 43-year-old daughter. And I have a 36-year-old one too. And they both agreed with this. They said to me, they said, you know, Mom, they said, if I go to, because I do tarot fairs here, psychic fairs here in Atlanta, and they said, if I go to a fair, if I look on TikTok, and they both are a lot, they're both on TikTok a lot more than I am. And they referred to those 20-year-olds. She said, both of my daughters agreed. They said, I'd rather go to a more seasoned reader like yourself. She says, because usually, she said, those young girls are going through the same thing that I'm going through. They're trying to figure their lives out. If they're 40s, in their 40s, they're making some of the same decisions or have the same issues that I have. My 30-something-year-old daughter said the same thing. So I don't think we have anything to prove. I think we just need to show up and be who we are. Let the 20-year-olds do their thing. Let them do whatever they're going to do. It's not going to impact us. And really, when you want a genuine reading, a lot of younger women, and most of the people that I read for are millennials, are women in their usually women in their 30s and 40s, sometimes in their 50s too, but most of them are millennials. And when they seek me, they come to me, there's a sense of confidence that they have. And my daughter's kind of nailed it. So I'm focusing on that. That's my input. Because they're going to be out there doing their thing on TikTok. They're going to be throwing those cards and answering questions about whether the boyfriend's coming back, and then you've got cards that say no or whatever. Let them have fun. It's entertainment.
Yeah, I've been calling that party trick tarot lately. You know and I don't focus on it either, but what got me thinking, what got me interested is I am down here in South Texas, South Texas, where
Yeah.
there is a lot of competition in the
Mhm.
market, and a lot of $10, $20 readers. And honestly, they're not young TikTokers. They're it's the culture here. The culture here has never been big on cards, and it's never been big on spending a lot of money in this genre. And so what I've been thinking about, and what I've been looking at, seriously looking at this last year, is how can I differentiate myself? How can I stand out in a crowd, in a sea of, because I'm getting ready to do fairs and festivals again. I just signed up. I start the 7th of February doing, outdoor markets. And I don't anticipate running into a lot of readers there, but I do look at the landscape and think, for not for them, but for myself. It's like I love my craft, but I want to stand out. I want to do more. I feel like, like I had hit a plateau with what I did, and I just wanted to do more. But I agree with you. I get a lot of either really young girls, I get a lot of 20 somethings, or I
Yeah.
get 40-year-olds.
Yeah.
I don't know. That 30-year-old group seems to be a lot more confident about who they are and where they're going. They maybe they've been through all the trials and tribulations of the 20s, and now they're ramped up, ready to go. They haven't hit that brick wall called 40 yet. So maybe.
I found with the 40-year-olds, they're kind of, and with my daughter, prime example, she's an RN. She's been an RN for the last 20 years. She's traveled, she's been a traveling RN, but now she's wanting to pivot in her career. She wants to build on that. She wants to move outside, away from bedside nursing, and build on that and go into a totally different arena, but she's going to need her skills that she has.
Yeah.
So there, a lot of times, the 40-year-olds or the 40-somethings that I get are at that crossroad, that kind of fork in the road, like what should I do? It's about a career. Because for the next 20 years, then they're going to be like my age. And then they're going to be thinking about retirement and that kind of thing. So it's like, what do we do with the next 20 years? So you're right. I agree. A lot of the 40-year-olds, it's different. 30-year-olds, it's a little bit different, but yeah.
Hey, Dee,
Uh-oh.
how old were you when you pivoted your EMS into the training program that you developed that was so successful for so long? How old were you when you did that?
I normally don't say my age, just so you know.
You don't have to tell us now either. I just tell
I was
people
old
I'm
enough to know
old.
better.
No, but I mean, you started that. Did you start that after, like at the end of your career, as something to do in retirement? Or I thought you started that, you pivoted to that earlier and it just
Yeah.
took off.
I pivoted during a time where I was in my early 40s and
Okay.
decided that I was going to become a firefighter. And I went through the schooling and did that, got into the medical part, EMS, emergency medical, and then the teaching of first aid and first responders, CPR, all that. And that's where it got started. And I worked at in a school district, well, a big school district that actually needed it, that bit of expertise, but my fire service really started it.
See, I love that your story because I know your story, but I love that it's that pivot that we're talking about, right? It's helping people pivot. You know, it's helping give people an idea that there's something bigger, there's something more. You know, there's something we all have, no matter where we are on our journey, there's something more that we can shoot for, that we can, you know, reason to get up in the morning and be excited about. And with coursework, like, you know, Amanda and I are doing the coursework thing, and you know, it's and Ava, you're just getting back out into doing markets, right? You're doing the shows and stuff, which is, you know, that's so social and it's so much fun. Yeah,
Yeah,
and
and for
John's doing
me,
shows.
that's truly out of my comfort zone because I'm so much of an introvert. So, and getting, listen, it has really challenged me to stretch. If I wanted something different, I have to do something different. But as a true homebody and an introvert, putting myself out there in the public arena, um, at markets and festivals, it's been different. I've been doing it for the last year now, not the outdoor festivals, but like the indoor psychic fairs. But the amount of people, the foot traffic, that's been a stretch for me. But it's been a good stretch because,
Yeah.
because I get to come back home then and do my thing as an introvert. But it's harder. It's hard.
I just think that we're in this new interesting time of technology and just the political environment, the environmental environment, the you know, just coming. I mean, COVID changed so much, you know, and it changed how we look at the world. And there's so many different things. Hi, Juliet. There's so,
Hey,
there's so many different avenues. It's just a different time, and you know, tarot transcends all. I mean, it transcends all times, but it makes it interesting to see how do we pivot with, you know, with the changing times. And by the way, in case, you know, for those of you who don't know it, it's like D lives in Minneapolis. Things are really changing for her right now. But real crazy time for her. They say it's not as bad as the George Floyd times that we had there, but it's almost as
They
bad.
can say anything they want, but when you're here,
Yeah,
you can feel it. I'm a clairsentience and I am picking up all of it. So I'm cleansing myself and looking at, I ask my cards in the morning, you want to work with me? Some will say, not today. They have nothing to say. So, I mean, it is, I'm going through a bit of an adjustment, but at the same time, you, you find yourself saying, stay in my space. Don't
right.
venture out too far. There's nothing I can do really except send light, energy, whatever, but I need to protect myself as well.
And vote. That always helps.
Yeah.
All right, you guys. Oh, be quiet. I was going to, yeah, you know, and in that vein, like I said, I am down here where there's this proliferation of tarot readers, but there's witches that read, and then there's tarot readers, or there's people that practice what I call the esoterica versus witchery. Um, Dee, you're our resident witch. I think you're the only witch we have here, right?
Oh
Okay.
no.
So, but I'm just saying, can you tell us the difference, or can you give us an idea of the difference between witchery and esoterica? Because it's, to me, there's a line, and I don't think it's that fine. I think there's a real line, but I'm down here, that line seems to be blurred.
I guess the easiest way in keeping it simple is basically if you are an esoteric reader, it is a specific skill set that you are putting out there, your knowledge. If you are, see, I'm going to get into witchery type stuff again. If you ground a lot, if you have specific areas, if you work your magic kind of a thing, you have specific skills that you work on and you keep getting better with those skills. For me, being in that witch area, it is a lifestyle for me. I've had this forever, that I see things, pick up things, see light, work magic. All of a sudden I'm thinking of something and I'm doing rhymes for the ritual. And it isn't something that I work black magic. It's all for the betterment, to make it look lighter, to make those out there feel better. So being a witch, yes, many of us read tarot, and we do it because who's watching us? Who's with us? We have our four corners, and we ask about that. Where tarot is something that you may have picked up later on. You may have had these feelings and you're looking for the answers, and you decided, hey, I'm going to try tarot and see what I can find out of it. Learning the skills once you get involved in it. Lenormand, I use that. I use Lenormand for clarifying. And I'm the clarifier queen. So
Yes, you are.
that sort of thing. The only thing that I will say is where the connection or the difference is, I work with energy and I work with nature, and I want the source to go out there and help if you have anything that is ailing you. Where in a tarot reader, you have that card that you can read and make different assemblance with it. You read and get other messages from it and create the story. My cards add to it. It is something that may have been missed, but it's an all in energy.
So you think witchery is more ritualistic?
Yeah.
Than esoterica, maybe?
Yeah.
I don't know if anybody
Look
else.
at my room. My room is all these things that I put up because something pulled at me and said, you need to get that. You need to have that right now.
What I think is hysterical is your whole house looked like that until Lefty got a hold of you and made you dump. I don't know how much stuff you had to get rid of, but her husband just drew the line, said, there's too much of this stuff here. It was because it was everywhere. It's so fun.
No, the thing with it is he thinks I got rid of it.
Oh.
And I know. It's a different spot.
Do you just kind of bring different stuff out and swap it out every now and then? That's what I would do.
And I let those who come in, what room do you feel comfortable in? Where do you feel that the energy pulls you? So they have to think about that and ground. So
Dee has a bunch of young, older teen, younger 20 college student grandchildren. So she does a lot of they promote her services at school, and she gets a lot of college kids. You're like our college kid reader. Does anybody have anything today that they would like to talk about, or they need to talk about, or have any questions about?
Well, I guess I'm first trying to understand what happened, because I tried to follow the link, and then that went to, I guess, Yvonne's or something. I didn't even know about this, so I'm sorry to join late, but I was trying.
We're glad to have you. That's fine. Sorry if you didn't get a correct link.
So where would it have been posted?
Well, I post the replays of these on YouTube, And then what I do is I will post, like when I post today's, I will schedule February's and put that link in the description of
Okay,
this
so
one
this was
for future
separate
reference.
from this was separate from the tarot conceptual tarot gap.
Yeah, I'm
Okay,
different.
that's what happened
Yvonne
because
has
I was,
one, I have one.
you know, Yvonne had posted that the second Tuesday had been changed
Yeah.
to January 20th and then had the link. But when I, plus Zoom has changed some stuff. So I'm really quite befuddled right now. Going, what's happening? So
Well,
anyway, okay.
hopefully we'll be as interesting as the conceptual
Oh,
blending.
yeah, no, I'm sure it will be, but I'm just, yeah.
But
it's like,
I do have to say, and for people on my channel that are esoteric, more into the spiritual side of tarot, the conceptual blending that Vincent Petici made so interesting and so popular, and which is discussed on Conceptual Blending in Tarot Facebook group, which is open to everybody. That's Yvonne's group. This new approach that I've been working on for so long, this new approach, it just, I always appreciated and understood and appreciated the difference between Vincent, how Vincent looked at the cards and how I look at the cards. But man, I'm finding myself migrating so much in my current process toward the other. And Vincent, now, John and Yvonne, you guys can tell me, Vincent didn't necessarily believe that the cards were spirit driven, did he not?
That's true. And you know, I'm sorry that I've been bouncing all around. I'm trying
right.
to do this on my phone. I'm really sorry about that.
That's
But
right.
no. Vincent he had his own style. And the interesting thing about it, his partner Linda was totally esoteric.
Right.
And Linda did not even need the cards, according to her. She says, half the time when I read, Yvonne, she goes, I have the cards because people kind of expect the cards, but I don't need the cards. So there's something to that too. I mean, like you, Dee, I don't consider myself a witch, but I think that there's a lot more out there in the universe besides just the tarot. Tarot is a tool that we all use, and for those of us that go into that, allow ourselves to accept and to receive messages, because I mean we all have it. It's an thing. Every human being has it, but from birth we're told that to listen,
Yes.
and to do as we're told, right? Well, at some point we learn that what, there's more out there, because why am I getting this feeling that this is not a good place to be, or why am I feeling that I need to go somewhere? So there's more to it. I love Vincent. I will always love Vincent, and I loved his style because he was a straight shooter. And for some people, that works. That's perfect. They don't want to get into the esoterically witchy, whatever, whatever they want to label it. But I kind of feel I'm neutral, or just say, or better yet, let me say this: I'm an equal opportunity reader.
There you
Yes.
go. That's a
Yeah,
nice way to put it.
Yes.
because I mean, my whole family, my mom, my whole family, my mom has always had this um, this
Gift.
ability to know things, to feel like, okay, I need to take this trip to go see my mom because she's sick, without knowing. And sure enough, my grandmother would be sick. And I get the phone call thing. I'm thinking about my younger brother, and not even halfway through the thought, my brother's ringing me. He's calling me, and I'm like, I answer, and I'm like, wow. I go, what do you want? I go, I was just thinking about you. He goes, yeah, stop thinking so loud. And this is with both of my brothers. So it's, so there's more to life than, than just the black and white. There's a lot of gray shaded areas, and yeah, don't limit yourself. That's what I say.
Oh, no. Sky's the limit. My grandmother, at the age of 3, I remember her asking me, "What do you know, Dee?" She would always say, "So what do you know? What do you hear?" Yep. All the time. I grew up with that. So that's when it got started to pay attention and see what was going on around me. And eventually, I mean, I've had it, this whole feeling and grasping and sending forever.
Yeah. It's
just the way it is.
And if people are drawn to reading tarot, there's a reason for that. That's not, people call it curiosity or, oh, it's a fun thing, but there's more to it. I mean, just allow yourself to experience it, and
I think I think people get lost. And I think we lose ourselves, and then we find ourselves, and then we lose ourselves. And I think, to me, tarot, it's the people that sit at my table. It's like they're looking for something, and some of them know what they're looking for, and they just can't seem to find it. And other people feel that they need something, they don't know what it is. And I really,
you know what? Yeah. I don't think any of us really know 100%. I think we're always we're all curious. We're all looking, and I don't know that if we actually get to a point to where we are satisfied. I think with age that comes to where you've experienced life so much, talk to a 80, 90-year-old, and see what they're thinking, and they can give you a lot. I've been on this planet for a long time as well, and like Dee, I don't like talking about how old, but
right.
but but with every year that you live, every day that you live, you're learning something, and sometimes as you're going through the journey, there's more questions. Yes. More questions than answers. So, just keep searching, you guys. Just keep looking, and yeah, consult your tarot. Listen to your voice. Listen to your inner voice. Hey, there's Rebecca. There she is. Anyway, but the whole topic that I kept trying to get on board from the beginning, and I'm sorry about that, Lynn, but but the
on
whole
board with what?
Well, on the Zoom period.
Was it a problem for people being obviously? Well, I don't know if Juliet knew where she was coming, but if Juliet's here by accident, we're glad to have her. Yeah. If there's problems, let me know. You guys drop me a line. Let me know.
No, it was me. I'm on my phone rather than my laptop. Yeah. Anyway, but to the initial topic about young readers or I have to agree with Ava in the sense that, and here's something that Linda and Vincent talked about. There are going to be readers, plenty of readers. There's a lot of territory to cover, and so if the readers, the 20-year-olds, 30-year-olds, 10-year-old, whoever's reading out there, they're reading to. They have an audience. That's who they're reading to. You can go online and you can go to YouTube and you can look at all the different readers, and you can say to yourself, oh my gosh, that's not how I would do it. Well, then, yeah, that's okay, because that's not that they're meant to read the way they're reading, and they're reaching the people that need to be reached. Maybe I can't reach them, you or anybody on this Zoom can reach, but that person will reach somebody, obviously, Because if they have followers of, you know, 1 point whatever, they're reaching that population. That's fine. You know, that's the
I just feel
followers.
like, and I was talking to, who was I talking to about this? Oh, I was talking to Dr. Michelle Jacobson about this. She's a medium and intuitive and angel reader in Minneapolis. And I had asked her a couple of weeks ago, we were talking, and I said, I found that for me, I started out doing fairs and festivals, and I did a lot of them for the first 8 years or so of my professional career. I started in 2016, I think, after starting back up in 2015. And I found that, I mean, I got to the point where people would come back to see me. And that was great. It's always great having, you know, that repeat business. And they'd be coming in first thing, man, and signing that sign up sheet. But a lot of, oftentimes that did not convert to shop reading or online, you know, private readings aside. But they would always be at the shows, and they'd come and do that. And I said, what has your experience been? And she said, it's been the same. And she's highly popular. And she said, yeah, she says, I'm real popular at the shows, but yeah, she says, not as much. She says, I think people like the environment. And so it doesn't, you find out where your niche is, you find out where your people are, you know, you cater to
do.
wherever you are and what you're doing. And I really enjoy the shows. I love the buzz, the hum going on around me. It doesn't distract me at all. It kind of, I don't know, it kind of energizes me. I don't know, Amanda, do you feel like that? Because you do shows too, or you do, you know, the markets too. Do you find that, I mean, some people will say at the end of the day, oh my God, I just have to go home and be alone and go to bed. And other people go, you know, hey, let's go party. You know, I mean, you know, you get
Oh
jazzed
no,
up.
I'm tired. I'm
Yeah.
exhausted because they're one after the other after the other.
Yeah.
I'd rather have breaks, but um, you know, you're not really there for breaks, so
Yeah.
yeah.
So I'm kind of curious about that for people who read, you know, like that. I've been invited to do a yoga retreat in March, and there's 8 women, but I would really like to do the jazz spread, which I feel is my strongest tool for reading. But it takes me about 45 minutes to an hour. So I figure really the best I can do based on their meal times and meditation and all that is probably 6 readings. So, you know, is there some suggestion on being able to, you know, and I'd like a break in the middle to eat and stand up and stretch my legs and, you know, clear the cards, clear my head. You know, is there some way for packing, you know, that's a poor choice of words, but, you know, allowing 2 more readings than that? Is there some way to
Sure.
condense?
So let's back out the time. What is the retreat? What's the hour of the retreat that day?
Well, that's really, I would like to start at 11 because she says they're done with their morning yoga, their meditation, and their meal by 11. I did not ask her what time then dinner, you know, what time do they, you know, gather for dinner. So I
Yeah.
figured I'd do 11 to 2 and take at least a half an hour break. So I was figuring, you know, I could do 6 easily and maybe 7 if I, you know, breeze through the readings without quite so much detail. But I just wondered how you do it, you know, when you're reading like Amanda, when you're doing one after the other and staying in tune, you know, because it just seems like a lot.
You said your readings are an hour?
Well, for the jazz spread they are, and that's kind of the spread that I am most comfortable with. It takes me about 45 minutes, but I allow an hour because you've got the initial, you know, hi, let me explain this to you, you know, and then afterwards, if there's any additional question, then kind of, you know, getting the deck reshuffled or cleared, or, you know, I always have 2 or 3 decks anyway. So anyway,
Well, if it's all right, if I can just throw out some suggestions and then see what other
that's
people
what I'm looking for. Yes,
suggest.
yes, please.
But to me, if they eat at 5 o'clock, right? If dinner is at 5, or I'm sorry, if let's say you're working until 4, right? You've got 5 hours. 5 hours would give you 10 30-minute slots. And if you have 8 people, that if you could hone that down to 30 minutes, you could fit in 8 people and 2 30-minute breaks or 4 15-minute breaks, or at least give yourself a little overage in case somebody's in the chair longer than, somebody else.
Right.
But
That's always
in a five, but you have to know that variable. You need to find out from her, what are you reading from when to when? And
well,
and
I'll start at 11 and we didn't really discuss. She just
right.
was like, okay, you can do, 6 readings or so, because not everyone is necessarily going to want a reading. Then I
Okay,
thought,
that
well,
would affect it too. Yeah.
I could also, if everyone did want a reading and I had only had space for 6, then I could offer them Zoom meetings,
Right.
later to have to be at the event. But I was just kind of curious how
Well,
everybody.
I think your preamble would cut an immense amount of time out. I have a preamble. This is, what I say, this is what I believe, this is how I operate. I'm going to lay out a spread in the beginning. I love Christiana Gaudet. She's just such a card, but she wants to lay out a Celtic cross and read it cold before anybody says anything to her. She wants, and I've started doing that. And it's like, I get the lay of the land. It's like, I want to know what spirit wants to talk about. And then we'll dive into and then we can dive into what you want to talk about. But I mean, I say the same thing to every single person that sits in a chair. And that kind of speeds up the process. And you're right,
Right.
having your cards, having your cards cleared and ready to go.
Right.
And
Right. No, I do
yeah.
that same thing. I read cold. I tell them if they have a question, we will address it after I do the reading. Because with the jazz spread, it just always seems to hit. It seems to answer kind of everything. And then I say, if you have a yes or no question, we'll do it with the pendulum because I find that works much better than the tarot for answering yes or no. But anyway, I was just kind of curious, how much time can you allow yourself? How long do you go without a break, Amanda? How many people would you read for? How long are your readings taking? And yeah, thanks, Lynn. Ways to cut it off, just have the set thing here. And with the jazz spread, it's basically just an expanded 3-card spread. So it's pretty straightforward.
But remember too, though, you don't, and then I'll let Amanda answer, but you don't have to answer every question in a public setting. I mean,
No.
you can say, what jumps out at you as the primary issue, or what is their primary issue, address that, and then spend a couple of minutes explaining that you see more, but we're not in the right setting for me to be able to dive into it time-wise.
Right.
And
which is also a good way then to drum up repeat business, right?
Exactly.
You provide enough and then, hey, we can do a expanded reading. So yeah, that's kind of this just happened. So I'm trying to, make a plan in my head on ways it would work. And of course, if you're planning on 6 people out of 8 showing up, then 8 people are going to want a reading. So I'm just trying to figure out how to.
Yeah.
I have a thought. I would find out what the schedule is. I mean, you said that they were going to be doing yoga at a certain time, and then there's a big gap. Is that how that works?
Right. So it's on this, remote property, and that's what the retreat is all about. They can go walk along the river, they can gather with each other, catch up, they can do art. So like the first day we're going to do a vision board, and also I've been wanting to incorporate the tarot into a vision board, and I've kind of been working on that. That may or may not happen by that time.
That's a neat idea.
Yeah. I thought it's kind of interesting because the archetypes that would blend, and I like demystifying the tarot. I think there's so much misconception about the tarot and all the woo woo and stuff. So anyway, the first day I will be doing a vision board with, we can accommodate all 8 women, and that's fine. And if I could kind of incorporate tarot into that, so everybody leading up to then what's happening the following day. But yeah, basically by 11 o'clock in the morning, the women will be free to do whatever they want. I'm the entertainment, so I'm expecting I'll get some interest. But then I did not ask what time then they're breaking for dinner, or if they have another, meditation or something. So I need to find that out. But when I had initially spoke to her, she just thought, like 6 hours. And I'm like, well, if I do the jazz spread, that's like 6 people. So anyway, or speed up my jazz spread or talk faster. or eliminate some of the stuff I do, because usually with the jazz spread, I have a bowl full of Merkaba stars, and I have the person place the stars on whatever cards pop out at them. So that takes about 5 minutes, so maybe I won't do that. Although I do like that because it's very interesting to see what cards are speaking to them. So anyway, I don't know. I just thought if somebody has any recommendations for moving through the process while being thorough, but speeding it up, that.
Yeah, I think you're going to have to drop some. What you're going to have to do is figure out timing wise, how much time, can you do a good thorough reading in 20 minutes?
No.
I got to tell you something. I have a video on my channel. I love this video. It's one of my favorite own videos, but it's called The Celtic Cross in 5 Minutes. No way. And I literally put a timer at the top, a countdown timer set for 5 minutes. And I do like 4 or 5 readings in that video, and it clocks it down. And I'm going to tell you, I think I nail them all. I think I do a good job. But when I do it's different when you are out. It's, for me, I have a hard time getting through a good reading in keeping it at 45 minutes in my shop. But when I'm at a fair or festival, I mean, it's 10 to 12 minutes. And then I use what I call my signature move, which is at the end of the reading, it's like, do you have any questions about what I've said? I don't give them the opportunity to get into something new. And it's like, great. Would you like to take a picture of this spread? Almost nobody will turn me down. I mean, maybe, 2 people out of 50 will say no. Everybody else says, oh yeah, can I? Sure. But let me get up. You come around here and take the picture. Now, I'm out of my chair. They're out of their chair. And I'm already entertaining, telling the next person that get ready to come in. And it's like that person doesn't have a chance to sit back down and stay and visit. So
see, but I do readings on the same side of them, but I don't think that's going to be the problem. I just don't like the Celtic Cross. I never have, so I can do down and dirty 3-card spreads.
Yeah, pretty can use your own. Yeah, you just modify your own, but you might want to do it with a timer, and also if you set a timer, if you set a little timer or on your phone or whatever, where it 5 minutes before the end, then you both know that end is coming.
Right.
That helps too.
Yeah.
Amanda, how long, when you read at fairs and festivals, how long are your readings? What do you do? What spread do you use? Do you have a go-to for those, and how much time do you spend?
Only 15 minutes tops. I do the Celtic Cross, but I've got my own
version. Sure.
It's a lot like Vincent's. I mean, I got it. Vincent was my inspiration, but I tweak it a little. And like 15 minutes tops. But my purpose on those is, here's a little taste of what I do. Come get a private reading with me where I read for you for an hour or half an hour. I actually just recently got these little cards that say "Found Me." They're little coupon codes, like that you can. I don't know whether it's working yet because I just started it, but you can. But I feel the same way as you, Lynn. I feel like I have people that come back to the same event the next year, but I may not. They don't come get a private reading. Not everyone, but I would say most people are coming back to the events.
Yeah, they like the events. Go figure.
But I don't know if I have the best advice because I feel like I have definitely overextended myself doing that one after the other, after the other, after the other.
Yeah.
And I am just exhausted. I'm actually probably not going to be doing the like the fairs or not the metaphysical fairs, but the ones where I put a tent up.
Yeah,
that is exhausting. You put the tent up, you read all day, then you take the tent down, you load it up in your truck. I mean, just
yeah, I'm getting ready to do that, and I'm too old for that. But I'm gonna have to start doing it. It is.
It is exhausting, and I'm not so sure it's worth it.
Well,
but I like the metaphysical fairs because there I'm just coming in. They usually have the table set up for me.
Yeah.
I don't have to, and they're inside, and
my biggest
but I'm
concern,
still doing 15 minutes.
My biggest concern here, my biggest concern here is that, especially this time of year, we have 3 different kinds of days. It's either breezy, windy, or gusty. That just does not work with a tent. I'm like, I'm reading and the tent's like pushing up against my back. It's like, the wind is pushing. It's like, oh God, it's going to go over. Anyway, so it's fine. Hey, anybody, we're coming up now. We're on the hour. I'm going to have to cut this a little short today. Anybody have anything they want to announce? We had Amanda. If you're just coming into this video, you got to watch the beginning of it because it's Amanda has something new. She has a new Lenormand class that is starting this Saturday. So that's something you might want to go back and look at. Anybody have anything else? No? Okay.
Well, I got to stop making these dramatic late entrances into your videos.
Well, you weren't the only one. So don't give it a second
the dentist
thought.
Last time.
Juliet, we meet
nice
here.
To see everyone.
Thanks. We meet here on the 3rd Tuesday of every month at noon. Central.
Okay.
And this will be on,
that's on your YouTube. Where do I find the link?
The DevineCentral Tarot on YouTube.
Okay.
As a matter of fact, if you want to, real quick, if you want to pop your email address into the chat box, I'll just add you to the list because I've just been sending it. Our group is not that big. I've been sending people a link, just to make it more convenient. We're missing Sherry today from Honolulu. I wonder what happened to her today. She was fun. Well, she was new last month too. So it's fun to have all the different personalities and Anne Marie, you doing okay? Haven't heard a word from you.
I've been listening to all this very good advice that's coming and going, and it's been very helpful. So I decided to shut up and listen this time.
Anne Marie, she's our resident historian and symbols person. I thought I sent you something, or I found something. I don't know if I sent it yet on symbols for you. And you sent me something the other day that was adorable. Yeah.
You did. So, yeah. 1 or 2 things to catch up on. One thing does strike me when you started off talking about the TikTok readers and the young readers and the different bodies. And what strikes me is what Vincent always said. Don't wait on, maybe this is not exactly what he said, but what I took out of it, don't necessarily wait until you think you're ready. Get out there and read. Reading is the important bit because you learn. You read. You think you know the cards. You know the meanings. When you're sitting in your own little room doing things, you know it all. You can answer 40 questions, but you don't know whether any of those are right or not. You've made up 40 stories, but you don't know to sit opposite somebody whether that story will click in and be what they want to hear or what's of use to them. So on some level, I would think good to get people out and reading. And another thing, there's an area you mentioned, Lynn, which I think there's an area when people are in their 40s plus and they are beginning to think they've done what they like with their life, or they've done something they've enjoyed and want something different. And then they need something more like a counselor or a career person. And they need, most of all, someone to listen to them, someone who's going to listen to them and suss out what they're saying and give them some help on their journey. So that's, I think, an important part of the different ages for reading tarot and the different things people want. When you're going to a tarot as a younger person, you just want to be told, will I meet up this boy, and will we go out together? And once you go out happy, if someone tells you, yes, you'll meet him up, or he might be a few months' time, but he'll be there, you go out happy. You don't care what else happens, you know that's what you've got. It gets different then you get a bit older, and maybe you want some advice, and that's where the in-depth tarot reading comes in, I think.
Well, I'm going to be real excited to show you guys my program as I am getting ready to put it out there, and it's but it's advanced tarot, it's strategic tarot, as opposed to just mystical tarot, or esoteric tarot. So, hey, you guys, it has been so wonderful to see everybody. I look so forward to more discussions. And if you have anything that you want to talk about, drop it, let me know, drop me an email, and we talk about that. And let anybody that's a tarot reader, if they want to participate in this, we'd love to have you. And by all means, if you got something going on, let's throw it out here. Let's let people know, because we have about 100, it's not huge, but we have about 100 regular watchers of this podcast. So it's nice to get it out there if you got something going on. So guys, thank you. And you have a wonderful
Thank you very much.
time, and hope
Hi
to see
and
you all
bye.
back.
See you later.
Nice
Talk
to
to you
see
later.
you all.